Now at feralaudio.com/shop. 3 new Feral Audio t-shirts are available for a limited time in over a dozen styles and colors. Men's, women's, tank tops, hoodies, stickers, and more, including an original design Monarch by Julia Hagelin seen on our historic Comic-Con 2016 Hall H panel. Check them out at feralaudio.com/shop.
George, I have a couple questions for you.
Shoot.
Have you ever worked for a boss who couldn't make up his or her mind and then blamed you for it?
Probably.
Great. 3 more. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Have you ever worked for a boss who always needs to have the last word?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have time for 2 more questions? Have you ever worked for a boss who is a micromanager?
Yeah.
Look what I'm saying in general is, have you ever worked for a difficult boss?
Yeah, I had a boss that always was a close talker and smelled like a combination of pretzels, old coffee, and cigarettes.
Whoa.
It was disgusting.
I had a boss who was a crier.
Ooh.
Uh-huh.
Keep it to yourself.
I mean,
Save it for therapy.
we all have emotions, but not in the workplace.
No. Well, guess what, Karen? Now that you asked me those questions, guess what?
What?
There's a new podcast, and it's called I Hate My Boss. It's 2 workplace heroes who help you make big decisions, sort through small stuff, and get fulfillment from your workplace.
It's about people who go to work, people who are part of a team, who respect their bosses sometimes, and who need to escape.
And you also meet characters, Karen, that you might relate to and know, and they'll help you deal with them because they know their shit about workplaces.
Go listen to I Hate My Boss and subscribe to it wherever and whenever you listen to podcasts.
All the time. I Hate My Boss. It's workplace drama, comedic relief. Subscribe today. They come out on Mondays. Bye.
Hey guys, Randy and Jason Sklar here along with Daniel Van Kirk.
Hi.
We are the hosts of Dumb People Town, and we have a phenomenal guest on this week.
The clothes are off.
She's with us right now. Her name is Aisha Tyler, and there's a lot of nakedness on this episode.
There's a lot of nudity in this episode, and unfortunately for all of you, it's still a podcast.
None of it is you. Unfortunately, none of it is Aisha.
Couple good
I actually
origin
am
stories.
wearing all of my clothes at one time.
She actually put more on the more nakedness.
She's suited up, as they say.
She's suited
I have
up.
a Kevlar vest.
And she's ready to rock. So check it out this week. Phenomenal episode of Dumb People Town.
Feral Audio. My favorite
Welcome to My Favorite Murder.
Welcome. That's Karen. I'm Georgia.
That's Georgia.
Thanks for
2 girls, 1 murder.
Obsessed with true crime, both of us.
With bad things.
Bad things happening. We love it. We want to know all about it so it'll never happen to us.
And it turns out so do a lot of other people.
Yeah.
Because lots of people have been telling us about how much they like it.
We got a lot of emails from the last episodes of people telling us their town murders, which I love and is like so exciting. And we haven't read them yet because we want to surprise each other with it.
Yes.
But so many, I would look at the first line in Gmail and it would say like these little things because I'm fucking curious and I want to know what they say. But so many people are like, I was always so embarrassed that this is a thing that I was into, which I'm like, what? I try to talk to everyone about it.
I know. Well, that's how I felt when I was younger.
Yeah.
Like that I was like crazy.
Or people would think
something.
that you wanted to murder people.
Right, exactly. And then the second I started doing stand-up and every other stand-up comic knew every serial killer backwards and forwards, I was like, oh, I get it.
I wonder what it is. Anxious people?
Yeah, it's that. Probably. And it's so fascinating.
Yeah.
It's like the worst of humanity.
Yeah, I wonder if it's a little OCD-ish too, where you're like, I need to know everything about this now.
Yeah.
And everything that's related to it.
Yeah, please help me prepare for when I run face-to-face into John Wayne Gacy.
Because now you and I are going to be able to fucking beat up any serial killer murderer. I found a new podcast, not new, it's really old, but they talk about murders and stuff a lot. And maybe I shouldn't plug it because then it's like...
Go ahead.
No, it's really good. It's called, have you Thinking Sideways podcast?
No, I've never heard of that.
It's like a girl and 2 dudes and they just talk about like weird shit. And a lot of it is murder. It's great.
I like it. I started listening to Joe DeRosa and Pat Walsh's podcast, I'll See You in Hell.
Oh, my God.
Which, because I had to drive home from San Francisco yesterday. It's 6 hours, so I listened to many. and it was really hilarious. I recommend that.
What do they talk about? They talk about
They put on a
movies?
horror movie, but then they just talk over it. You can't hear it or anything. They just tell you what movie it is, and they talk about it incidentally as they have
It
conversations.
sounds like it shouldn't work, but I bet it's fucking great.
Well, it's so great because they both have these insane, comprehensive, encyclopedic
Right.
knowledge of movies. So
Right.
any tangent they go on, they know exactly who and what they're talking about, which of course
Wow.
was a real sore spot for me.
Yeah.
As anytime I bring up a subject, I'm like, you know that thing that happened that time? Hold on.
Well, you need like the right person to fill in the blanks.
Yes.
And you're just like, oh, this is why I'm friends with you, is because like I was just rambling and you filled it in, and that's the best.
That's what we do, right?
It's totally what we do. Oh, I was gonna make you say the last part. So. Didn't work.
I guess I'm not good at that part.
It's on this
Do.
podcast. Do.
Do.
Oh, thank you.
I'm really excited, audience, because Georgia got new couches. And when I was listening to our first episode, there's a sound in the background the entire time. And
didn't
it's me squeaking on my couch. Like, I'm just constantly moving around.
Oh, it was a leather couch.
It was
That's
making me
why.
laugh so hard.
Oh
when I
God, I
listened
didn't
to it.
even notice.
So but no, it's all cleared up.
I got these for podcasting, so that
Yeah,
they don't make background noise in podcasting.
Perfect podcasting couch.
You can write them off. Wait, not that I make any money on podcasting. This is not a money-making venture, everyone. Don't quit your job.
You never know.
You don't ever know.
You don't ever know.
You don't ever know. Like getting murdered.
Yep.
Should we jump into it, or should we talk about making a murderer? Have you been reading all the making a murderer theories?
Well, the natural backlash has happened.
Yeah.
Um,
Pretty sure he's guilty now. Are you? I'm pretty sure he's guilty now.
Are you really?
Yes.
I think that's very adult of you to be able to change positions
Yeah.
freely.
It doesn't
I think
feel
it's-
good.
Well,
to
look,
be that.
here's the thing, and this is the one thing I agree with. In general, I think he's innocent, and I think very bad things are happening in that state. I think there's a natural backlash when you get kind of spoon-fed an answer, not an answer, but like a villain, and like here's really what happened, and they're leaving just enough pieces free so you can put the mystery together yourself, and then
Yeah.
everyone thinks they got it and they're on it.
Well,
so
yeah.
so there's always the hot take of like, no, actually,
Right, because everyone wants to know details.
Right.
Well, that's the problem, is the people who are looking up details are like, oh, this documentary was really one-sided, and you guys left so much shit out, which makes me suspect of you
yeah.
and suspect of your conclusion.
Yeah, but none of the details that I read, and I admittedly only read maybe 2 articles, half skimmed while I was doing 2 other things. But the piece of evidence that they brought up didn't sway me toward him. They didn't. It was like that thing of like.
Which one was it?
I don't think it's proof. The things that they mention that was evidence that got left out was not stronger evidence than like bones in the fire pit or.
Do you know what I think? I think that someone on that property, someone's did it, but maybe it wasn't Steve Avery. And I think Brendan Dassey knows or participated in it.
Really?
Yeah, because if you go back, which I've done now, and read his whole 10 hours of transcript, there's shit they're not feeding him that it's too much of a narrative.
But he said it's from Kiss the Girls. Remember that part near the end?
I
He's
know, I
in
love
the
that
courtroom,
part.
he's like, it's from Kiss the Girls.
Yeah, no, he might have made that up. There's some shit that it's like, this is a narrative you're telling, and you're too stupid to like make up this story that sounds this much of a narrative.
Right. It's just that zero blood anywhere.
I know, which is why I'm like, it probably happened somewhere else, and maybe it wasn't Steve. I just
I
changed.
see.
It's been 3 minutes, and I've already changed my mind.
The
that
family.
he's-
Well, no, I mean, I think that's good. You have to continually reapproach it. Like the district circuit court judge that you are, and always stay neutral.
I am. Did you know I went to school
Yeah.
for that?
But I don't know. I'm much more interested in like, you can tell that there's a very real systemic problem in that.
That's not even. I'm not talking about that.
Yeah.
That shit's.
Those people do whatever they want.
Yeah.
You can tell that district attorney just does whatever he wants.
I think the key was planted. I think that probably maybe the blood was planted. I don't think that he got a fair trial and everything. It's what's interesting. One of the things that I kind of led me down a rabbit hole is people are saying that the key that they found, that's a spare key. That's like maybe the brother. They're like, we know it's Stephen Avery and he gave him the spare key. The brother gave her spare key to him to like plant. And there's like a photo that they keep showing of her standing by her car with her camera and stuff, and you can see her big old keychain, her holding it in there. It's like, so that her purse wasn't found, nothing was found. So
And then the ex-boyfriend, there's the picture where he has a scratch on his hand.
right.
Like a human fingernail scratch that's really long.
Yeah.
I
I don't
know.
think they had anything to do with it. I think they probably found the car. They bet they like trespassed onto the CV. This is all based on shit that I've read on Reddit too, by the way. I'm not taking any fucking credit for this.
No.
Found the car because they knew that she was going there. Called the cops up, and it was an illegal fucking find, and so they made that woman who was in the search party go find the car.
Right.
Does this make anyone who's listening who hasn't watched it? Everyone's watched it.
Everyone's watched it in America and decided. It's going to be interesting to see if anything actually really.
Yeah.
What happened with that? Were you reading these papers off of that anonymous like file dump?
No.
You know, Anonymous went in and like
Yeah.
released all those files. I'm interested. I don't know. But then there was a thing today that was it today or yesterday that was there's a serial killer that they think is good for her murder.
I fucking totally. He's in the background of in the video.
Yeah.
And there's a serial killer. He was known for going to the trials of the people he would frame.
Yeah.
But he's a big old fat unhealthy dude.
Oh, sorry, what's the problem?
Well, how could he like a young sprite woman? Although I guess if you're like, help me, I need help, and you just push her in the van.
Yeah, it's a classic Buffalo Bill scenario.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
Can
That
you help me
guy.
out for a second? What are you, size 14?
You're a big old fat girl. You're a big old fat girl.
She a big old fat person. Get me out of here, you bitch! Me and my sister just watched that
You
Silence of
did?
the Lambs, and I was saying Clarice Starling's lines 2 seconds before she would say them. And this is how I know my sister loves me. She never told me to shut up.
Aw.
Because we've been watching TV together for so long, she's
Yeah.
just used to my insanity, but I couldn't not do it.
That's
I can't.
nice. I do that, and then I apologize the whole time, but I still keep doing it.
Yeah.
Like when I was Vince, I'm like, I'm sorry. But I like just keep fucking doing it.
Tell me his name, Dr. Lecter. How do you not do that when you know that that's what she's going to say and you can do it just like her?
That is the best movie.
It's really
Did your
perfect.
niece watch it with you?
No, no.
Oh
no,
God,
no.
I was like, she's gonna have a nightmare for the rest of her life.
She's only 9. No.
I think I had seen it by then. I think I'm ruined. I think
You saw it when you were
I
9?
think I saw it when I was very young. I don't know. Whatever.
I read the book in college and actually I was home alone all day and began to think I was Clarice Starling as I was reading the book. I was so into it. I went insane.
You probably were.
I kind of was. Did I already tell you that story?
No.
Well, it's true. Guess what?
What?
It's the start of the new year, Georgia.
No shit.
And it's a great time to set goals for your business. You know that small business that you started, the shoe store?
That shoe store I have. It's got one small shoe in it.
You're gonna sell that shoe this year, I'm positive.
Thank you.
But listen, when you make your operations more efficient for like selling that shoe, then you have to go sell that shoe online. And here's the easy way you're going to sell that shoe.
Please tell me.
Use ShipStation.com.
ShipStation.com. You know,
That's right.
I heard that they bring all of your orders into one place to make them easy to manage.
That's
all
gossip.
my one tiny shoe, and that you can. You're using Shopify, Squarespace, Etsy, BigCommerce, other fucking places. They'll bring them into one place, and then I heard that they create shipping labels for like every carrier.
Yeah, that's like the buzz around town.
Dude.
I've heard that too.
Yeah.
Like, you mean like a UPS or like the United States Postal Service?
FedEx is one of them.
Postal Service?
Postal Service.
Sober for 17 years.
The number one choice of online sellers, especially those who have one shoe store.
That one shoe store.
One tiny shoe store.
The special offer for our listeners, if you try ShipStation for free for 30 days, then you get an additional month for free.
Jesus.
But you have to use a promo code murder.
So go to ShipStation.com, and before you do anything else, you got to click the microphone at the top of the homepage and type in murder.
That's ShipStation.com. Enter murder.
Please buy my tiny single shoe.
Someone's got to buy this shoe.
This is my year.
Is there a baby out there with a credit card?
Hey, Karen.
Hey.
What's your favorite murder?
Well, I thought it would be good that I would do a little damage control since on our last episode I I was so like sloppy and inaccurate talking about cropsy. That was one of the ones where we were literally guessing what the name of the thing was I was trying to talk about.
We've let everyone know that this is not an official report of anything that's happened.
We're not doctors.
You're looking in the wrong place. If that's
We're
what
not
you want.
therapists.
No.
But the story has all of the elements of murder, creeper,
Yeah.
urban legend story, everything I love. It's got a mental hospital. It's
Yeah.
got the woods.
It's almost like that's too much if someone had written this thing.
Yeah. It's
But
like you
it's-
can pick one or the other, but you can't have a mental hospital in the woods. It's
I
crazy.
haven't seen it in so long. Tell me everything.
Okay, so this is the story of Cropsey was an urban legend on Staten Island, and there was a hospital named Willowbrook, and it is a hospital for mentally challenged children, and they built it in say like the early 40s, and it is on Staten Island set in the woods, and
Already creepy as fuck.
it was a state institution, and it was built for 4,000 patients, but by 1965 it had 6,000
Wow.
children in it.
It was built for how many?
4,000. So it was
God.
way over capacity, and this was back when people used to dump their children.
Totally.
So and it didn't matter if they had Down syndrome or if they were very, very, there was something really wrong
Or
with
they
them
had
mentally.
like cerebral palsy, and they
Yes.
would just be like the later
Tons of
days.
cerebral palsy kids were completely intelligent and 100% there,
Functioning,
just dumped. And so what ended up happening was, of course, because it's like a state-funded hospital, so it's overflowing with patients. What's the word I'm looking for? It's
Got it. It's good. Go with it.
understaffed, overpopulated,
Overpopulated.
and so they end up. A reporter finally goes in. When we talked about it on the last episode, I said something really grandiose, like
thought it was
Robert Kennedy
Geraldo
shut it down, but
Geraldo Rivera.
Geraldo Rivera. So
But
Kennedy saw it in the 68 and said, this is a snake pit, this is a disgrace, and they started doing all these reviews. And what had happened was all these children being in this close proximity, they found out it was like they were just in rooms naked, being hosed down, horrible, there's no lighting, it was crazy. And a bunch of them started getting hepatitis. So then they had medical studies where they were testing hepatitis on these
right,
children.
they're like, might as well do some fucking scientific testing. on
Exactly.
this
And they were
little-
basically giving them all hepatitis. They were getting it. It was so anyway,
Oy.
with all of this, these social workers finally went in there, saw the conditions. They got a reporter in there, and that's what led. So a woman started writing exposés for like a local newspaper, and then that's how Geraldo got on the scene. He worked as an investigative reporter for WABC in New York. So he went there, and they did an expose story that ended up winning a Peabody
Holy
because it was
shit.
so
And they just kind of like they went when their doctors were gone and stuff, right? Or the doctors let them in.
I don't know about the Geraldo part.
Okay.
I don't know how he got in, but we talked about this before. When you see the videotape, and there is a documentary called Willowbrook, like it's something like The Great Shame or something like that. It's it gets mentioned a lot in all the research, but he basically went in and like the only lighting was the
Yes.
light on the camera. It's
It looks
so
like
creepy.
It looks like a American Horror Story, like Asylum. Like
Totally.
it's just exactly what you think it's supposed to be. Like it would be like.
30 kids in a room naked, sitting on the floor, a
huddling.
cement floor, rocking back and forth.
And then they talked to one guy, and he was like one of the patients, and he's like, I have cerebral palsy, and I am completely mentally functioning on 100%.
Yeah.
And
And I'm trapped in here.
Right.
Nightmare. Okay, so that alone is a nightmare. That's
Terrifying.
Willowbrook, nightmare. Geraldo being in it isn't great. But it ends up with all that in the expose, they passed legislation, but about like the rights of civil rights thing for patients and stuff, all this stuff. Well, so then the urban legend pops up. So they ended up closing it in 1987, but they basically closed it in 72 or 4. After this expose came out, they shipped all of the patients to all different hospitals around, and there was only like 200 patients left.
Wow.
So it was basically empty, and that's when the urban legends started, where it was there's a mental patient that's still on the grounds because there's a tunnel system underneath the hospital. and he's living in the tunnels at night. He comes out and steals children. And that was the big thing on Staten Island in the 80s.
Oh my God, how
And-
fucking terrifying to live in Staten Island.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
And so the high school kids, the big thing was go through the woods
No.
and get to the mental hospital and like touch the wall of it or whatever.
Absolutely not.
And Cropsy's out there with you. So, and there's a great documentary called Cropsy where they go into all this. They have all the information that you need if you're fascinated, because it's really good and fascinating. So
I
anyhow,
just imagine like parents in the 80s being like, "You be good, or a Cropsy's gonna come get you."
Yeah.
In Staten Island, and you're like, "Well, actually, that could happen." So
actually, it's happening.
my mom would say, "You be good, or I'm gonna call the Indian reservation and have them come get you," which is like so racist. Mom.
My grandmother used to say, "Don't put like if you were holding money."
Yeah.
She'd say, "Don't put it in your mouth. It could have been in a Chinaman's ear."
What is that? Like you're
So-
you're gonna put money in your fucking mouth. B, oh my God, racist.
Racist in like a chipper grandma way.
Right.
So anyway,
Okay.
so
Go.
now we're gonna introduce a new character in this story.
Okay.
And it's a man named Andre Rand. And he was, he's described in one of the pages that I read as a mentally incompetent, convicted child sex offender.
Sounds fun.
So he's got it all.
Yeah.
And he was a janitor at Willowbrook from 1966 to
Shit,
1968.
I feel like anyone you're gonna hire to be a janitor there, you have to be like, no, you're fired because why? Like you're crazy, clearly.
Yes. Well,
Okay.
and you got to think if these children were being housed like animals,
Yeah.
like no better than animals,
Yeah.
probably worse in some ways. The staff that were there letting this happen
Yeah.
and looking at it every day, not the greatest people you're going
No,
to want
Let's say they're not.
around. We
No.
can pretty
Sure, I'm sure there's a couple gems in there. Like I'm staying because they need me, and I'm the only hope they have. But the majority probably. I mean, in life, there's probably 1 out of 100 people who are even like that.
yeah.
So
You're going to get people who are real good with throwing a bucket of water on a bunch of mentally ill children and walking out of the room. You're good with that, Andre? Okay, great. You've got the job.
okay, go.
So so this guy gets the job in 66. Well, in 69, he works there from 66 to 68. In 69, he attempts to rape a 9-year-old girl, and just by chance, a cop car is driving by. He takes a 9-year-old girl into his car and to an empty lot, and takes off his clothes. Her clothes are off. A cop car drives by. He
Sometimes
gets caught.
life works well, you know. I mean, yeah. Go on.
This is an upside. This is
Yeah.
one upside in this hideous story. He gets sentenced to 4 years. He only serves 10 months. You know, the classic scenario.
I hate everything.
I
This is
know.
why we have to do this podcast. Is because our fucking penal system blows.
Because we got to talk about it. We're gonna affect change
Oh, clearly.
by laying on these
The
couches.
guy would have gotten 11 months if it was today because of us.
So he gets out, and then that would be 69, 71. In 72, a 9-year-old girl named Alice Ferreira disappears off Staten Island. Then in 1981, 9 years later, a 7-year-old girl named Holly Ann Hughes goes missing, and the eyewitnesses saw her with Rand.
No way.
And she's never seen again. And then in 1983, this is a real highlight for me. He picks up 11 children from a YMCA in a school bus, takes them to White Castle, and then drives them to the Newark airport for 5 hours. And when he gets back, he gets arrested for kidnapping.
Who the fuck is letting a guy who's been in prison for attempted rape drive a
Of an-
fucking bus of
A,
children?
a school bus.
Come on, the 80s.
He
Come
rapes
on.
a 9-year-old, tries to rape a 9-year-old, and then goes ahead and gets him a job driving a
Jesus,
school
the
bus.
80s needs to go to prison for fucking.
So this was back before we realized children were constantly in danger. So in 83, an 11-year-old named Tahese Jackson disappears walking to the store. And this is 12 days after Rand is released from
I
prison.
bet he was buying cigarettes for his mom. Like, I bet that's what, you know?
Yep.
Like, that's the 80s.
I think that's what all of this is, because Staten Island's not that big.
No.
And I think it's like run down to the store for mommy. And
Yeah.
it's probably one of the girls lived in a motel. It's bad
Aw,
news
honey.
anyway.
Okay.
Um,
So that was 11 days after he got out of prison for the kidnapping?
12 days.
Fuck.
12 days he does that, and that's the same year he did the so he did the YMCA school bus trick, and then gets out of prison 12 days later. This kid goes missing. It's a girl. And then in 84, a 22-year-old guy who was a really low IQ goes missing. And then in 87, a girl named Jennifer Schweiger goes missing, and she has Down syndrome. And several eyewitnesses saw this guy, Andre Rand, leading her by the hand toward the woods. I mean, that alone, there's your poster for the horror movie.
Sake.
So they start searching for her, and after 35 days, they find her nude body in a shallow grave on the Willowbrook property. And then a couple feet, several feet away, Andre Rand has a makeshift campsite.
Okay.
He's been living on the Willowbrook grounds, and the whole urban legend is true. And they eventually charge him with kidnapping and first-degree murder, but they can't make the murder stick
And he
for
goes
Jennifer
to prison
Schweiger.
for 2 years.
No. They get him for first-degree kidnapping, and then they bring back. And then once he's in jail for that, he gets like 20 years.
Okay.
Then in 2004, they put him on trial for the Holly Hughes disappearance, and he's convicted of kidnapping. And now he's set to get out in 2035 or something like that when he's 95. So he's in for good. They also linked him to the disappearance of Ethel Atwell and the rape murder of Shin Lee, who were both Willowbrook aides.
I bet.
So
oh my God, that sucks.
he's
man.
a beast. And it's basically the most fascinating story of that it all was true.
What a bummer to go to work and then you get killed. Like, don't go in the woods. Don't walk to the store by yourself. But you're like, I'm just going to work.
Just going to work, just trying to pay my rent.
Oh, fuck.
So that's Cropsey.
That's a good murder.
I
I mean, it's that's what's good about it is it's the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. That's the stats on this show is like, what's the worst thing you've ever heard in your life?
I mean, don't you want to? Why hasn't anyone gone into the tunnels in that hospital and like dug around archaeologically and tried to find?
Karen, 100th episode. Let's fucking do it.
We get a school bus full of 11 children and drive them to Staten Island.
PayPal us the money to get plane tickets to Staten Island and to not stay on Staten Island because fuck that, we're staying in Manhattan.
We got to stay in Manhattan.
Yeah.
We got to see Hamilton.
Yeah.
We got to go to the shoe stores.
Yeah.
Then Cropsey.
Yeah. Oh, brother.
Yeah.
So we have a ton of talented listeners who make talented, awesome merch and sell it on Etsy and on other places, right?
Yep.
Well, here's what we have to tell you.
Was I supposed to name something else besides Etsy?
I don't know what else there is.
I can't
so
think of anything.
No.
Etsy, and then there's Etsy
Plus.
Etsy Plus, where you pay $10 and then you get a couple extra beads with every purchase.
Okay, so for you, all you people and everyone else, ShipStation helps you get orders out quickly and keep customers happy.
It's the fast and easy way to manage and ship your orders all from one place. You need ShipStation.com.
So what you do is you just use ShipStation to create shipping labels for all the top carriers, including UPS, FedEx, USPS, and they make it really easy.
And with ShipStation, you'll ship more in less time with the best rates available. No wonder ShipStation is the #1 choice of online sellers.
Hey. Right now you can try ShipStation for free for 30 days and get an additional month for free if you use our promo code MURDER.
Don't wait. Go to ShipStation.com before you do anything else. Click on the microphone at the top of the homepage and type in murder. I thought you were going to do it with me.
Oh, murder. I was looking at the last line and how fucking hilarious I think this is. ShipStation, make ship happen.
Make ship happen.
Whoever thought of that needs a
Who
raise.
wrote this?
That's hilarious.
I want to meet the person who wrote this.
I feel like you guys, we don't need to say anything else about them. You need to use them based on the fact that their new fucking logo is make ship happen.
Hey, ShipStation, you buried the lead. The good thing was at the very bottom of the page. All you need to do is make ship happen, and you've got, what more do you want?
I mean, that just made Georgia very happy.
Oh no, she's talking about herself in the third person.
Then you know I'm going crazy. Okay, bye.
Bye. That was mine. What's yours,
That's a good
Georgia?
one. Well, what's interesting about both of ours is that the murderer in question still alive in prison.
Oh.
Still alive. How are these? It's like, isn't it weird that this person? It's just like in your mind, they're like, oh, they did these awful things that long ago. They're dead. Nope.
No.
They had dinner tonight.
They watched some TV.
They watched some TV. They
Yeah.
had a conversation with the guard.
Perhaps they played some bones.
Probably play bones. Is that what people do in prison? I don't know what bones is.
It's Domino's.
Oh, I bet they. Yeah. What do you think he had for dinner? Something gross.
Chicken nuggets?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had dinner. That's better than what I've had for dinner.
And he's a monster.
And he's a monster.
He's a monster.
Speaking of monsters, okay, my favorite murder is that of Michelle Wallace. Michelle with one L. And I remember I love cold cases. Like I love when murders get solved, of course.
Yeah.
But cold cases are my passion and my dream. I'm passionate for people getting away with shit. Because it's just so curious. I'm just so curious.
Yeah.
But I also like that the answer's never satisfying. It's always like, that's just some fucking janitor asshole did this to all these people. That's such a bummer. I want it to be like a monster or something. Okay, so, and I remember watching a cold case of this a long time ago, and the two things that stuck out to me. Okay, she's a 25-year-old photographer. This is 1974. She lives in Chicago. She's like this free spirit photographer, and she travels the world and taking photos and taking odd jobs and stuff. And she in 1974, goes to Oregon, spends a couple days in the Rocky Mountains, just taking some photos.
I think I've seen this one.
Yeah.
Is it a Forensic Files?
I think there's a Forensic Files on it. She's leaving the Rocky Mountains, and she does the classic 1970s I want to get murdered move. Do you know what that is?
Is it hitchhiking?
It's fucking hitchhikers.
It's hitchhiking.
She picks up hitchhikers.
Oh, she picks them up.
She picks up two dudes.
Oh, no. What? One girl alone picks up two dudes.
What the 70s and 80s, they're going to fucking prison. Yeah.
What did they look like? I wondered that she was like, this is fine.
Yeah, I don't know.
Was
And,
one
the
really short or something?
Listen, short guys are strong. Don't pick up anyone.
And they're mad.
And they're angry.
Yeah.
So we're going to get a lot of hate mail for this.
No, it's fine.
I'm short. It's fine. Okay, so she drops one of them off at the bar, this one dude, and then, of course, she is never seen again.
Mm-hmm.
Then the guy who she dropped off finds out this girl's missing, and he's like, wait a second, she dropped me off, and then the guy I was with, who I barely knew, said, can you take me to my car actually? And the guy was like, I didn't think he had a car, so I thought that was strange. So they start looking. His name is Roy.
The guy that got dropped off at the bar is the one that says that.
Yeah, he's like,
Okay.
I didn't think Roy is his name had a car.
Okay.
And he's like, yo, why did you let her leave with him? Fuck. You know, right there. You could have fucking fixed it. Anyways, Roy Melanson. Melanson. Should have looked that up before we started. Roy Melanson. He's a drifter and a convicted rapist.
Mm-hmm.
So, but he got out after a very short time.
Sure.
because
Why
would
keep
you
him in?
Yeah.
Why
This
keep
time
him
now
in?
he knows to kill the person so they can't ID him. You know,
Right.
it's like that's
Yeah.
how you do this.
That's how you progress.
I'm having a panic attack. He's found with her driver's license, camping equipment, car keys, and pawn tickets for her camera. And this is one of my favorite parts, why it stuck with me. And I can't fucking find this online now. Some reason it's not up there anymore. They find the camera at the pawn shop. They develop the film. It's all her photos in the Rocky Mountains. The very last photo is Roy sitting on a bed. Behind him, laying down, is a naked woman, and it's not her, so he has her camera. You know, it's like, that's the proof.
Yep.
She's missing, and you robbed her, and you took a photo of yourself, you fucking idiot. And I can't find that photo online. I know it was in the Forensic Files or whatever.
I totally remember this episode because it's so freaky.
It's so freaky.
And this guy never got caught.
No. Okay. Here's my other favorite part about this.
Okay.
Well, it's an awful story.
Okay.
5 weeks later, Michelle's mom just kills herself because she can't even deal. It's like, my daughter didn't come back. I know she's dead.
Ugh.
Kills herself. And then in 79, so what is that, 5 years later, this is the other part that's really fucked up and stuck with me. They find just a scalp with 2 brown-haired braids on it. Like a scalp only.
Oh, where'd they
Some
find
hiker found it near where she had picked up the hitchhikers.
it?
So just a fucking scalp. I'm going to keep saying it. because it's fucking awful. Just picture
Do you
it.
think it was like sitting on a log or
Yeah, definitely.
hanging from a branch?
Probably. They showed it. There's a photo which hanging from a branch.
Sorry.
Well, you got to think like he definitely didn't scalp her. Probably this is animal work.
Oh, you think so?
Well, I guess if it's that clean, maybe not, but I would think so.
No, I don't. I mean, I have no idea. But my first guess is, doesn't it all decompose at the same time? Like, why would the scalp still be there if nothing else is there?
Well, and maybe an animal pulled it off, like was chewing at the.
Maybe.
Everyone who's listening right now and freaking out at us and hates us so much, and we've just lost half our listeners.
Here's the thing, though. It's like that's kind of part of what's interesting about serial killers is when they do things. It's those markers.
Mutilation.
Of like,
yeah.
they're
Not a lot of them. I don't think that's a normal, like a. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, sometimes it's like a calling card.
Right.
Of like, oh, that's the thing is he wants to keep their hair or remove their hair. Or I don't know, whatever. It makes me think of that, of like a scalping serial killer.
I've read way too much about cutting off nipples. I just can't read about cutting off nipples anymore. I know. Your face is telling.
I'm just picturing it.
The thought of
It hurt really bad.
It hurts to think about it. So the thought of someone doing it, you have to be just a complete sociopath.
Yeah.
Clearly you're a psychopath. Anyways,
And
okay.
you clearly have a problem with your mother. Sorry.
That's fair.
But it's true.
That's fair. Okay. They find the scalp, but it's 1979, and so they don't have a body, so they can't prosecute.
So they put it in a brown cardboard box.
Yeah.
They put it up on the shelf.
Right, in a hot room.
Yeah.
But there's no body, so they can't prosecute. But it's like, well, I feel like nowadays you can prosecute without a body much more easily.
Yeah.
And then, so 12 years goes by, no body. This woman, Kathy Young, who becomes like the sheriff in town, or I'm sure I'm saying that incorrect. She's not. I'm sure she's much higher up. She hires this company called NecroSearch.
Oh.
Which I remember thinking at the time, that's what I want to do. I want to work there for a living. Like I want to like
The name
volunteer.
alone.
Yeah.
Volunteer.
I just want to I want to follow them like the Grateful Dead.
I want to be the receptionist at NecroSearch. I can be like, NecroSearch, may I help you?
What's your emergency?
Skull and crossbones.
Oh my! But they have uncovered what they do is they find, and they're really good at uncovering clandestine grave sites. It's like, you badass motherfuckers. Is that
how? Do they
Well,
have like a?
They have like a
website?
farm. They have a website. They have a farm where they like bury pigs, dead pigs, and kind of understand the soil changes and like what doesn't look right out in nature.
Okay.
What is man made? What is placed there? These sorts of things, and like what is the decomposition of this pile of soil or dirt, or like these kinds of things. What has been dug up in the past 10 years even that's different from the soil next to it.
Do animals scalp people and keep the braids for themselves?
Exactly.
Stuff like that.
Well, here's what happened is they took her braids and did some forensic analysis on them and found the leaves of a tree that was in a certain area of those mountains.
Mm-hmm.
So they went there, they spread out on that area where the trees are. Day 2, fucking find her bones. Whoa. What was left of them.
Wow.
I know. These guys, they've uncovered over 200 they've taken on over 235 cases. I don't know how many they found, but man, these are the good guys.
NecroSearch. I love that.
I know. I bet we're at a party we would corner these people, and I bet they get kicked out of parties a lot, though.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I would never leave a NecroSearcher alone.
No, can we have a request if anyone knows a NecroSearcher I think they're in San Francisco, to please have them be on the podcast.
I just think that's insanely fascinating. It's almost like having X-ray vision. Like you can look at a forest or a ditch and know what's wrong and what's off.
Absolutely. Well, the woman who found the bones was like, they were all searching for 2 days. She goes off the trail to take a piss in the woods, which seems like it shouldn't be allowed if you're looking for a
Hey, she's still human.
Yeah. And she looks, and there's a ray of light flashing on a gold tooth. She finds the skull.
Oh, that's the Lord's work.
Yeah, and it was
Sorry, this is where my Christian part comes in.
This is it. I know.
Yeah,
not
the sword.
before she dies when he
No.
no.
No, it doesn't belong there.
Well, it's at the bottom of a ravine, so like someone straight tossed
course,
this
a
person
ravine.
over. Like didn't even bury her.
Just threw her in.
Tossed her over. So they take Roy Melanson to trial. He is found guilty in 93. So she gets killed in 74, found guilty in 93. Since then, and I didn't know this until I started looking up to it, he's been convicted for another murder which happened 50 days before Michelle's murder in Napa in 1974.
Yeah.
Woman who was stabbed to death at a bar she owned, and they found a cigarette butt that had his DNA on it. Put it through the fucking CODIS, the most amazing thing in the world. Found his DNA match. Another woman in Louisiana who fucking, it's gruesome.
So he's done it multiple times.
Yeah, at least twice that they know of through DNA.
Wow.
But they're not taking the third one to trial because it's too expensive to do all these things for, which sucks for that family.
Yes.
You know.
But they know it's him.
Yeah, now they know it's him.
But he's going to go to jail anyway, so their rationale is he's there.
Right, which is why Napa took him to trial, is because he can be eligible for parole, which I think is fucking hilarious for Michelle's murder not in like the next 10 years, eligible for parole. So they convicted him to make sure that if that ever happens,
that's
then
good.
he has to be extradited to California.
Yeah, it's very strange the way the laws still work like that, where it's just kind of like, and then we let him out again.
Right.
And then, but you know what? He was real good inside, so we let him out again.
Yeah. We're like, well, at the trial, like one of the jurors sneezed wrong, so he's out.
Yeah.
And we don't have enough money to try him again, and we think we're going to lose. So.
And we probably won't warn anybody just to keep it interesting.
Nope.
The good thing about all of this is that hitchhiking pretty much doesn't exist anymore.
Thank God. We've talked about this before. Like, I don't even understand. Like, I know it's like an innocent time and shit, but like, I don't think that's common sense any time in your life. Like,
No.
at any point in history.
No, I mean, think of like if you were at a party with your friends' friends, you probably wouldn't want to be in a car with any of those people.
Yeah.
And those are like cold. So imagine if it's just anybody driving
Yeah.
down the street.
Have you ever hitchhiked?
Is that negative of me?
No. No. What you don't want to be at a party with your friends?
No, I've never hitchhiked. I've never done anything like that.
I think I have when I was a kid, but like with a friend. And I think
What?
the person, like, it was like an Irvine where it's just like the safest place in the world. But it was idiotic. And I think the person who picked us up, like, yelled at us.
I did pick up two girls who were in junior high. We were driving home. We were driving up to Petaluma from LA, me and my ex, and we stopped at a gas station, and there were two little girls that couldn't have been more than 14 years old sitting at this gas station. It was 2 a.m, and they were trying to make phone calls. The whole time we were getting gas, I was watching them, and they were trying to make phone calls, and they were doing this stuff.
2 in the morning?
2 a.m. And I was watching them, and the guy that worked there seemed a little creepy.
Yeah.
And he was kind of like coming out and looking at them and going back in, and people would pull in, and I was just the whole time staring at them. And finally, when we went to leave, I was like, drive over there. And we pulled up, and I was like, do you guys need a ride home? And they were like, yep, and immediately got in the car. And I was like, first of all, never get into a car with people. And then secondly, did you go to Lou Sutton Grammar School? And they both went to my sister's grammar school. And I got names, and they kind of smelled. It was like clearly they were from the bad side of town, and they got like, they probably snuck out.
Right.
And then got stuck somewhere, and then ended up at this gas station out by the freeway where I was
and
like,
it's not walkable.
no, it's like 5 miles away from any neighborhood.
And it's all farmland and shit.
Yeah. So we dropped them off, and I was like, don't ever do this again. And they were like, and then ran in, and they will. But
oh God, where are they now? I wonder if they remember you.
no, they both own that gas station. Because of my setting them on their way correctly.
Good job.
Thank you. Well, I just want to take a second to brag about something good I did for the community. Do you mind?
No, I love it. Thank you. What if they went home and killed their mom? Can I turn this into a bummer real quick?
They were the ones that were all along.
Yep.
That's a good twisteroo.
That is. Let's write a book.
They went home and killed their mom.
Oh, I'm dead inside. I want to read one of our. So at the end of the show, we like to do your favorite or your town. No, we do your town murder.
Yeah.
So either we'll have a guest tell us a story, or we're asking you guys to send us your stories. Should we start at my favorite murder Gmail? I probably should.
Sure.
Let's do
Yeah.
it. My
Gmail.
favorite murder Gmail, and then there's also a Facebook a group, so you can start
Facebook page, we call it.
Facebook page group page. I think it's a group. I don't know what I said.
Last time you just called it plain old Facebook page, and it made me laugh really hard. We have Facebook page.
We have Facebook page called My Favorite Murder, and you can tell your story on the front page. On the front, like tell everyone your shit, and like you guys should like bond over it and stuff.
I feel like I should also start a Twitter account. Maybe this is business that you guys don't need to hear about, but I should because it seems like that's also a good way for people.
You're really good at that, and it stresses me out to start from zero, like from 0 followers.
I'm really good at starting Twitter accounts.
No, you're good at Twitter.
Well, oh, thanks. It's my passion.
I'm really bad at it. I started like a year ago because I hated it, and I hate it now because I.
It's a difficult exercise.
Yeah.
It's can you handle putting things out there and wanting something in return and not getting it?
No.
Well, or can you? Because you do it, and then you get stuff.
It's true. I do get stuff out of it. Okay, yeah, start one. Let's do that.
Okay.
Okay.
I will.
By this point that people are listening, it's gonna be up anyways. Okay. I've made a whole file. Should we let's see. All right. I'm gonna close my eyes and scroll and pick one.
Great.
And if it sucks, then we'll delete it and start over.
Okay.
Okay. All right. This is from Todd Deck.
Todd.
You ready for this?
Thanks, Todd.
It starts The Girl in the Box.
Hell yeah.
Hello, thank you both for sharing your love of true crime. Truth be told, I've always enjoyed the genre and never really got the opportunity to chat about it with people. Blah, 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 blah. It's now time for my true crime story. I am a new public librarian in a rural town. Already sounds awesome.
Thank you.
Dude.
Thank you for your service.
When I first started on the job, my first reference question was, where is the girl in the box? And my initial thought was, what the fuck? After some amateur sleuthing, I quickly learned that this patron was asking for a book called Perfect Victim. It's a true crime story detailing the story of a young female hit. We fucking talked about this before on the podcast.
Yeah.
This guy did not. Oh, no. Has it gone up yet, that one?
Yeah. Well, we didn't. It wasn't one of our favorite murders, so it was a sidebar
true.
story.
Okay, so I'm not going to get mad at him. They later... Okay. Well, maybe you don't know what he knows about it.
Is he just talking about the story itself, or does he have some personal connection?
I think it happened in the small town he lives in.
Oh, yeah.
Let's do another one.
Okay. But Todd, thanks because we love that story
Thanks, Todd.
too.
No, I really appreciate it.
You know, that story. That's one of the earlier ones that I ever heard about, and I just couldn't picture. I remember being like 12 or 13 and hearing that story, and I couldn't picture what it meant. Like,
Yeah.
how do you keep a person in a box under your bed?
Yeah.
How?
Well, I had one of those IKEA bed that had drawers underneath it, so I totally get it.
You got it.
But they also put a box on her head.
That was when they trapped her.
Right.
That's when they first had her in the car. They were all about boxes in that
Really,
family.
The boxes.
Weirdos.
Very weird. Not that they also tortured a woman, but
Yeah. And
with the boxes, man. All right. There was one that had something about John Walsh, and so I really want to read that one to you.
yes, because of my theories that I've been reading.
Oh, my favorite murder, Adam Walsh case. Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
This is from E. Allen. It's very fucking long.
Ethan Allen, the furniture
It's from
maker?
Ethan Allen. Hello,
Big
Georgia.
fan.
Big fan. What a great podcast. Thanks. My
Thanks.
info relates to the Adam Walsh who was abducted in 81 from a mall in Hollywood, Florida. In 1978, my dad had this great idea to move our family to Florida to get away from the brutal cold of western Pennsylvania. His growing paranoia and black ice phobias that killed my social life. Oh, I thought he was going to say killed my... we're not allowed to leave the house. Da-da-da-da-da. Can I skip over shit? Is that dick?
I think so.
Okay. By 1980, I'd found my first job at the Hollywood Mall, in Woolworths, working at the snack bar. Free pretzels and ice cream. But sadly, the icy machine was always on the fritz. The mall was close enough to our house that I could ride my bike to it in about 15 minutes. I remember that it was an indoor mall with a lot of tropical plants, pastel colors, herds of seniors, and totally 80s vibe. The location of Adam Walsh's abduction was the Sears department store at the Hollywood Mall. Now, I wasn't working July 27th, 1981, the day when 6-year-old Adam was abducted, but the news coverage was nonstop beginning that evening. From what I remember, Adam's dad, John Walsh, was the police's top suspect to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
There was lots of silent and not silent judgments from neighbors and community people being about him and his wife, Reeve. Reeve? By the way, they're still married with new replacement kids, he says.
Oh, no. That's the joke we made, though, right?
Yeah. We made that about Jean Benet Rand.
I think we opened the door on that, of like,
Right.
have some replacement kids.
Oh, my, yeah. Oh, right. Don't have
Sounds pretty
one.
harsh, though, when you read it back.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the freaky part, he says. My mom worked locally and came home for lunch that day. On her way back to work that afternoon, in which she had to drive right by the mall, she remembers being tailgated towards the freeway. The person eventually pulled around her to get by. It was to the point of her getting a good look at the vehicle and thinking the person was really in a big hurry. When the news of Adam's disappearance was on every local TV station, the police begged anyone with info to call. A tip reported by a witness said they saw Adam being pushed into a blue van by a blonde man when he was abducted. When we heard the info about the blue van on the news, my mom started screaming that the blue van had been tailgating her that day.
Ooh.
I can remember how crazy and gross and creepy it felt. She ended up calling the police and giving them the information. It's like a month later, they find Adam's head in a canal, chopped off with a machete in another part of Florida somewhere. A deviant felon, Otis Toole, who, have you fucking read about this motherfucker?
He's the guy that was him and Gary.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say Gary Ridgway, but that's
No, yeah, him and
the guy that just murdered everybody and fucked everybody.
yeah, someone's yelling it at home. We need a third person to be the person to tell us. His name is, hold on. I
Yes.
just saw it today.
He had a glass eye.
Hold on.
I just listened to the last podcast
the
on
last
the left
podcast
about
on the
it.
left did an episode
A
of
really good one.
this. Let me find it.
Oh my god, it's so irritating.
I know.
It's.
Um.
But I also have a sidebar theory on
Go.
this. If this person doesn't talk about it,
Okay, I want to hear this. Hold on.
because Otis is the one that says he did it,
You think the other guy did it?
or Otis, because he has two
Otis.
T's,
You're
right?
Henry Lee Lucas.
Yes.
Right? Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Henry Lee Lucas. Another serial. Okay.
Bad
Otis Toole, arrested for something else, confesses to it. Right. Toole says he drove around with Adam's head in his car for a few days before disposing of it. Toole confesses to killing Adam, but he told the police he snatched him in his car, which was an old Cadillac. Let's see here. He totally checks every box on the Know Your Serial Killer study. He then recanted his confession, but in 96, while dying in prison again, admitted to killing Adam. However, there's no actual evidence to link Toole to Adam.
And
So what about the blue van? Is this what you're going to say?
yes, go
He
ahead.
says, so what about the blue van? In 2007, there was another investigation and witnesses linking Jeffrey Dahmer to Adam Walsh's disappearance. Is this what you're going to say? He was in Florida at the time and drove a blue van for work.
Yeah.
If you read info on Dahmer, he didn't cut off victims' heads. He did cut off victims' heads,
did.
often boys, but none as young as Adam. But Dahmer denied killing Adam. Is Dahmer still alive?
No, they killed him in jail.
Good. The police and John Walsh believe that Toole was the killer of Adam. Police closed the case.
Now, here's another thing. If he is that done?
Yeah.
Because
Oh, wait, no. He says, Karen, you were hilarious on Twitter, and I loved your Mark Maron interview.
Oh, thanks. This was Ethan Allen.
Oh, wait.
Allen.
Yeah, E. Allen. And then he says, wait, Georgia, I don't really know your work. On the murder podcast. I think you're cool. Thanks,
Oh, nice.
E. Yeah.
Thanks, E. So I was reading all those, like the Jeffrey Dahmer thing came out of the blue. I was like, what? Which is kind of
God.
amazing. But it didn't seem like that was his. He's not a kid.
Yeah, but cutting off a head and driving a blue van are so much closer than just to some guy being like, yeah, I totally did it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I
And
mean?
blonde and like young and blonde, and they had a really clear description. But here's the thing. Adam Walsh, both of his front teeth were missing the day that he was there at the mall because his picture, I think it's his baseball picture that they used of like, have you seen this boy, had only been taken like a week or two before, and he has no front teeth. And the head that they found in the canal had one front tooth. So there's
My whole body is
there's
shivering.
a whole theory
That's
that
not
the
even
boy in the
him.
canal was not Adam
I'm
Walsh.
sorry, I need a minute. I'm like literally gonna start crying right now.
Oh no, is it too
That is the most. Life is so crazy.
It's so crazy, and like the answers we're being given aren't necessarily the truth.
They're just used to placate us, or
The bad part of me telling you that is that in learning it, and this was me because I was home at my family, so I spent tons of time just staring at my phone, like
Yeah.
in my room.
Sounds
And I
healthy.
clicked on one too many links because I'm very good at avoiding upsetting things. I
Yeah.
never, never listen to 911 calls. I
Yeah.
try not to look at too many pictures. But I clicked on this thing, and they had the picture of the retrieved,
no, they did not.
decapitated head that they found in the canal.
There's
and
why is that like public?
it's like you can tell it's a
Yeah.
crime scene photo, black
Someone
and white.
Took a photo of it.
But I wish I hadn't seen it. But
Did
yeah,
you see
but
the tooth?
Yep.
Did it look like Adam?
I mean, you can only see part of the Here's the thing. I truly only looked at it for like 4 seconds
Yeah.
because you know how in a movie when there's a decapitated head and they look like they're kind
You
of
say
melting?
decapitated, by the way.
Decapitated.
You've said it twice now. I thought it was just an accident, but then you just did it again.
I don't think I normally say that.
What if that's what you do?
I always try to get a little sexual with stuff like this. I think it's appropriate. Just to remind everybody to stay sexy.
And just like not to get too fucked up. It's
yeah,
like,
don't
okay.
don't remember dicks.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't mean to do
Jesus.
that at all. It's such an upsetting looking
Yeah.
picture that I only looked at for a second. But there's one big, like, child's grown-in front tooth, absolutely in the front. So there's no way in 12 days that boy grew that tooth in. And one of the most upsetting things I read when I was reading that story is he was standing at like a PlayStation or a Atari stand in Sears with his mom, and his mom went away to go get something, and he was 20 feet away, if not less, and she just went to go over here to like return something, and then there was a fight. The kids started fighting about the video game,
Right.
and a security guard came and kicked them all out, pushed them out of the Sears, made them all leave. So a 6-year-old is standing out on the sidewalk alone, kicked out of the Sears,
mom
and
has
like
no
too
idea.
shy to go back inside or be like, no, my mom's in there. I have to be in
Yeah.
there. He just goes where they tell him to go, and he basically is standing out on the street
I'm
alone.
gonna throw up.
Sorry.
No, it's incredible. Like that to me is like this is what it felt like to be in the 80s. Like you just always felt like you were about to be fucking snatched off the goddamn street.
Yeah,
Because
and
of
like
this story specifically.
yeah, people didn't know to tell their kids like if a security guard is not a cop, and you can
Right.
tell an adult, no, my mom's over there. You can
Right.
do things, but he was so little,
How old was he?
6.
Oh, he's a baby.
He was a baby.
Oh, people are awful.
Super gross.
Why is life so?
But that was a good one. His mom potentially could be supporting the Dahmer theory of the Adam Walsh
yeah,
case.
I wonder. I mean, I wonder why John is sticking to O'Toole.
Otis Toole?
Yeah, I wonder why he he doesn't want to change it. He probably
They
that
want it to
man,
be over.
He's got to be intense, right?
John Walsh?
Yeah,
Oh, you mean like at dinner?
yeah.
Yeah.
Like nobody wants to talk to him at a party.
No, I don't think so.
How are you?
I honestly feel like the couple times I've like let my mind slightly wander into the possibility of that, I'm like, I would just be on pills from the day it happened until the day I died.
Yep,
Why
done.
would you ever
Well, like fucking Michelle's mom. Just bye.
check out
Yep, can't. I can't.
so much?
Fuck. Please don't kill us, everyone. How do we end this on a positive note?
Please don't kill us. Everyone is as positive as one could get.
As this gets. By the way, this is a comedy podcast, right? Like technically.
That's what they say. I mean, it's more like a slumber party where things
Yeah.
happen that are great and then things happen against your will. And that's just junior high. Too bad.
Fucking life, man.
That's too bad. So is that counting as our hometown?
yeah, unless you have one that you want to.
Well, I have my friend Audrey's from when I went home.
Oh my God, yes.
It's just that I recorded it at my niece's 9th birthday party. So
That's so sick.
yeah, we were in the other room. We were far away from
Yeah.
any child.
I just love that.
It
At
was
a party,
mostly
you're like,
adults. Yeah.
Let's go in the other room. And,
And this is my friend Audrey, who I've been friends with since 6th grade.
okay, I love it.
and it's about my hometown too.
Yeah.
Which is equally exciting. Okay, let me make this work.
All right, so my favorite story, it's not really a murder, but it's something that happened here in Petaluma. It was like 2003, and the guy was known as the Petaluma Prowler, a.k.a. to the locals, the Petaluma Tickler. So this guy, hooded sweatshirt, whole thing, creeper, in the summertime would go around to a certain section of town and look for open doors and windows, and he would sneak in at night and he would grope women or couples or whatever and tickle their feet, and they would scream and then he would run away. So it kept happening weekend night after weekend night, like Friday, Saturday, maybe he'd take a Saturday off, do a Sunday. So everyone was getting so freaked out. They had community center meetings about it. When are we going to catch this guy? So one night, my friend and I, coming home from the bars, we're driving down our street and we see that there's this whole police line kind of cordoning off the area. So we know that something big is going on. And so we go and we talk to the cop and we're like, what's going on? And he said, I can't really tell you, but make sure you lock your door when you go inside. So we thought for sure we were going to see him bust out of the bushes at any second. And they never caught him, but they think they knew who it was, and they sent him off, shipped him out of town to Sacramento. So it was the greatest thing that ever happened. It was very exciting and terrifying at the same time, because tonight could have been the night that he decided to murder somebody. You don't know.
He had to keep doing. That's a great story.
I love that they just ran him out of town like
Yeah.
Wild West style instead of.
It's like Sacramento's problem now.
Yep. Go up there.
Gosh, I wonder. Yeah, that's a good story.
Like, you wake up because someone's tickling your feet.
What the fuck? You know what? Here's the thing, though. Don't hitchhike, as we've said, but don't leave your windows and doors open at night. I don't care how hot it is.
Yeah.
Sweat your fucking balls off.
Or move upstairs.
Literally, I would never live on the ground floor because I'm a terrified, anxiety-filled human being.
I mean, it makes sense. But also it's like that thing of people wanting to get into your house.
Yeah.
They'll do it if they want to do it.
When I walk by, this is awful. I shouldn't admit this. When I walk by a house, I'm like, I could get into that house. I'm just like, this is what's wrong with this person. I want to get into their house to be like, look I'm in here. Look
Should
how
I be
easy
in
that
here?
was.
No. Should you be?
And you live on a busy street, and I snuck right in.
I have that feeling in New York all the time, but it's almost like the opposite, where you can look into people's apartment windows in the front, but it almost feels because it's so common.
Yeah.
It's not as inviting because it just happens all the time.
Yeah.
People are used to being able to see right into someone's life.
Yeah, don't do that. Well, tickling is a much funnier thing to end on than a toothless.
I mean, it's
decapitated.
slightly up. I think he was a little molestier than the Petaluma Tickler's kind of a fun. It's like the Hamburglar, where it's like, yeah, actually, it was.
Did you say the Hamburglar?
Yeah. But I messed it up.
I love it.
I tried to put the word dick in there.
I was laughing over ham decapitated. Send us to My Favorite Murder. Send us your hometown stories. We fucking love them.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a murder, even like crazy crimes, shit that
Crime,
happen.
something creepy, like a cropsy story, the
Fucked
woods. Oh, and people who live near the woods that have creepy woods things. And then go to iTunes and review us and subscribe and do those things that help us.
Please rate, review, subscribe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Please do that. Because, two women hosting a podcast. Let's beat the men. Making this feminist out of nowhere.
You're going to make it like you didn't believe in us, like two women hosting a podcast? This thing's bullshit.
No, I mean, don't you guys want us to do well? Because we're two women and we're like...
Yeah, Hillary, do you hear us?
Yeah, I'm making this feminist immediately.
Fun.
Don't kill women.
It really is ultimately.
Yeah.
It's a feminist movement.
It is.
Of talking about murder.
We're feminists.
Is that all? Anything else?
Yeah, no.
Any final thoughts?
Don't murder us.
This really seems like a concern of yours.
I was just thinking, I don't want to talk about it because I'm just going to convince someone to kill me by telling them why I think it's possible, they should do it. Because I
have to say, I feel ready. I've been prepared for so long.
That was Karen, by the way. I just want everyone to know that was Karen who said that. Oh my God, I'm gonna prepare my speech for when it happens, to the news. We didn't know.
Here's your speech. She asked for it. Straight up, intentionally recorded it, set it into a microphone.
Oh,
All right.
thanks for listening, guys.
Feral Audio.
Hey, what's up? I'm Yasser Lester.
I'm Isaiah Lester.
And this week on My Brother's Sneaker, we'll be talking about
Vans.
That's right, the surf, skate, hype beast sneaker of the moment. You don't want to miss it here on Feral Audio.
For audio.